All right, lads, let's do this. Let's get, Is this it, chat? Do I just start here with is episode Persona 4 the Ultimax story? What the heck is this other question mark going to be? But I guess we just get in this, right? Like, we just get in there? Cass, I have a question on the Pixelmon series. Why don't you play on the latest version? I answered that in a recent, in the last stream. I'm not gonna go over it in a Persona 4 video. Let's get in it, chat. Let's see if the Ultimax story does any better, pacing and setup-wise than the other one. I can already by looking at how these cards are laid out, this already looks way better than the Arena story was, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Let's get started. Get this 100%.
So you will not require our assistance. Is that correct?
Who are you? Is that the same voice actress? That sounds so different to what Margaret normally sounds like. Surely that is not the same voice actress, is it? Does it still not have can I not replay? I hate that you can't replay audio in this game like other Persona games.
Very well. In that case, there is nothing more to be said.
Wait a minute. You will not require our assistance. Is that correct? I wanted to re-see what Margaret said because I wasn't focused on her actual words, but more so the tone of her voice. But now I'm focused. Margaret had a new VA for Ultimax? That's unfortunate. I really like Margaret's VA. I think she does a really good job. It's really fitting for her.
As for your presence here, this room is ordinarily only accessible to those bound by a contract. You are fated to refine your power. You will most definitely require our assistance, eventually. Until we meet again, farewell.
Wait a minute, this is actually really interesting. There's nothing more to be said. You don't need our assistance. As for your presence here, this room is... So wait a minute. Someone in the Velvet Room right now saying they don't want Igor's help, and Igor's like, you dumb idiot, you can't refuse me. That sounds interesting. It's the Velvet Limo!
Most intriguing.
Are you certain about this? Our domain is indivisible from the destiny of our guests. Nothing meaningless happens in this room. Which can only mean that the fate of our visitor just now will be...
Margaret?
Pardon. I spoke out of turn. We are only allowed to watch over and assist those guests who are bound by the terms of the contract.
Indeed.
So, the young man Yu Narukami is tied to our recent guest's fate. I wonder what fate, or rather, encounter will await him. Yu Narukami. Now that's a guest who never ceases to amaze.
Margaret is so thirsty. Someone get this lady a glass of water. It's May 5th, the day after we saw Labyrinth and the Shadow Operatives off. Literally the day after! We're in the corner of the chaotic as usual Junes food court.
I had a hunch this was gonna happen.
Well, your hunch isn't getting us anywhere. What are we supposed to do? There's not a single open seat.
That's just how it goes at Junes during Golden Week. And on Children's Day at that. If it wasn't this busy, we'd be out of business by now.
Today's Children's Day?
Huh?
I should have brought Nanako.
That's what you're worried about?
Sister Complex, dude. Sister Complex. Yeah, I know the release order of the games. I know that Golden was talking about Arena and all that. Watching the kids run around, I think back to Nanako's face when I told her I'd be going out. No, please don't do this entire storyline from Narukami's perspective, I beg of you. She looked like she wanted to say something. I feel bad I didn't ask her about it. But given what we came to talk about, I couldn't take her with me. I wonder if she's watching TV alone now like she usually does.
Yo, senpai, I got us some seats.
I like to imagine that when Kanji says that, he didn't find a table with empty seats. He's literally carrying around a bunch of folding chairs. Like, here we go, senpai. I got him. Ready to go. Where you want me to put him down?
Ooh, good job, Kanji. That's pretty impressive, Kanji. Especially for you.
Oh my goodness, Teddy is outside of the bear suit.
Damn it, Ted. Leave the especially for you part out next time.
All right, break it up. No fighting, guys. Let's
go, Yukun.
Right.
Do you guys ever wonder if Teddy is capable of flight because he has no bones? Like, birds can fly because they have, like, their bones are, like, hollow or something, right? I'm not a biology major. So, like, do you think that, like, we talked about this before when Teddy, like, got squished even though he had his human body inside of his suit? And people in chat were like, that just means he doesn't have, like, he can still do that even as his human body isn't actually human. So, like, he doesn't have, like, bones, right? Or they've got to be, like, hollow or squishable or something. Like a bird's, kinda. Can he fly? We should test it. With Yukiko spurring us on, we move to the seats Kanji saved. There's a table for 4 with 6 chairs he found somewhere. He just found them. After waiting for everyone to be seated, Yosuke clears his throat as if to drive away all the noise.
So it's a great day out and,
Dude, I don't think this is the time for that.
well, how else should I start off? Look at the size of this crowd.
I'd say I made the right call showing up like this. If I came in my usual costume, the little kids would be swarming my adorable bod. I'd be mobbed.
Oh yes, I've seen how the children tear off your fur from time to time.
Wow! Are you being nice to me, Yuki-chan? Has our love finally blossomed?
Huh? Of course it hasn't.
You dumb idiot.
Shot down as always.
It's because you never learn.
Well, let's get down to business. We didn't get to talk much yesterday after all.
That is the worst laugh I have ever heard in my entire life. I nod to Chie. I know it was a sarcastic laugh, but even then, that was so bad. We gathered here yesterday after seeing Labyrinth off, but there wasn't time to calm down and talk about what had happened. In the end, we agreed to leave the details to tomorrow, which is now today.
Don't worry about the crowd. Let's start the investigation team meeting anyway.
This just brings back the wise words of Mr. Krabs. What is today, but yesterday's tomorrow? Today. What a genius that crab was.
Yeah, though we are missing 2 people.
Naoto and Rize.
It's just not the same without our full roster of pretty girls. Oh, not only Rise-chan, but Nao-chan couldn't be here either.
Well, it's not like the other day, where we just lost contact with Rise.
Mm-hmm. She seems really busy. She said she had work during the holidays, too. At least we got to talk to her yesterday.
Yeah, Nato-kun's job is keeping her busy too. I guess it's the same old for them.
Naoto-kun knew things about what happened that not even we did. Apparently, she knew about Mitsuru-san and her friends from the start.
Thanks to her, though, we got some good information.
Well then, let's get everyone up to speed on what happened using that info.
Yosuke is right. So much has happened these past few days that none of us have had a good grasp on at all. We need to sort through what we've learned again.
What was it that started it all? Midnight Channel again, I guess. I thought I was dreaming for a good chunk of it, so it's not really hitting me.
The Midnight Channel, that TV world we helped to restore peace in, it ended up being used by someone else in the Labyrinth Incident. Oh, of course, since Ultimax technically came out later, they can't just assume that we just played. I literally just did all this info, so now they have to tell me about the story mode I just spent 97 videos completing. Labyrinth is the 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, a girl with a mechanical body who was stolen from the Keijo Group, one of Japan's biggest conglomerates. Someone threw her into the TV world. Thank goodness I didn't accidentally click into this story at the start of the playthrough. You know, that would have ruined a lot of the Arena story for me. But Labyrinth faced her other suppressed self there, and by accepting it, she awoke to her persona. That mostly wrapped things up. However...
So who exactly was it that put Labyrinth inside the TV? And why?
At first, I thought the culprit was jealous of my popularity and tried to break us friends up.
Mm-hmm. But that wasn't it.
That would literally never be it.
Their goal was to disrupt our hearts by making us fight each other, and then steal our personas after they returned to being shadows.
Naoto said as much too.
I don't know. Turning them back to shadows and stealing them. That doesn't sound like something just anyone could pull off.
Maybe not, but we know for certain that the culprit was using that method to try and gather powerful shadows.
Gathering shadows, huh? That's definitely not something any normal person would do.
The atmosphere darkens after Yosuke's remark. During the silence, I recall the events leading up to yesterday. We had once again entered the TV world to figure out why the Midnight Channel was broadcasting again. What we found there was a strange fighting tournament called the P1 Grand Prix. At the heart of it was Labyrinth. That was the funniest scene, like, one of the funniest scenes in Persona. That Yosuke and Narukami moment, that was so friggin' funny, dude. Having gone through severe trials as a weapon with a heart, she gave birth to her shadow, a suppressed version of herself, which twisted her dream of wanting to be a normal schoolgirl. It also resulted in the P1 Grand Prix, designed to pit people against their friends. After we entered the TV, we got wrapped up in battle just like Labyrinth's shadow planned, and were forced to fight one another. But we also met members of a mysterious organization known as the Shadow Operatives, who were in search of Labyrinth, and their leader Mitsuru Kirijo, who's CEO of the Kirijo Group. Words. It was with their help that we conquered the tournament. They were using the power of personas before we were. It was reassuring in a way to meet people who deal with shadows day in and day out. But the case isn't over yet. We couldn't find out why the culprit put Labyrinth in the TV to begin with. We don't even know who did it. Mitsuru-san and her people seem to have some idea, but that doesn't mean we can ignore what happened in our town. So we made the decision to investigate the case on our own, too.
That reminds me. How are things inside the TV?
The thought suddenly crosses my mind, so I asked Teddy. After we settled the first case, the TV world turned into a beautiful place, but it wasn't that way anymore during the P1 Grand Prix. Yeah, well, yeah, you know, because Persona, the way it ended in Persona 4 was supposed to be the end of your story, but then Atlus was like, but what about, hear me out, money? I wonder what happened there after we saved Labyrinth.
Still the same. It should go back to normal eventually, but the P1 Grand Prix had such an effect that it's still noisy there. Oh, but,
Huh? But what? Quit mumbling and just spit it out.
It's hard to say for sure, but I sense these weird presences. They feel kind of like shadows, but not really.
Weird presences? You mean there's something strange in there?
I don't really know.
What could it be? The culprit, maybe?
Maybe, but maybe not.
Well, this is all just a bunch of non-answers. We all look at each other after hearing Teddy's evasive answer. If something's in the TV world, it can only be a shadow, someone besides us who knows about that world, or someone who can use a persona.
Huh? How would that make sense? The culprit wasn't a persona user, right?
He did say that he used Labyrinth because he couldn't enter the TV world himself.
That's right, the only people who can enter the TV world are persona users. For a normal person to get in, they would have to enter alongside a persona user. If someone who doesn't have a persona falls in for whatever reason, they're in serious danger. Either the shadow's already dwelling there, or their own shadow might end up killing them.
So, wouldn't that mean this weird thing Ted's talking about can't be our bad guy? Or maybe the culprit can shove people into a TV even though he's not a persona user.
I can understand Kanji's doubts, but unfortunately, we don't have enough information right now to say either way.
There's one more thing that bothers me.
What is it?
It's something Naoto said.
I tell everyone what Naoto left me with yesterday. She said that when Mitsuru-san's plane was hijacked as a diversion from Labyrinth's kidnapping, the hijackers had no memories of their actions. They might have been brainwashed or hypnotized, but either way, it couldn't have been done by a normal person.
So much we don't know.
No matter what the culprit was trying to do, if he was after us in the TV world, I doubt this case will wrap itself up.
I agree. Oh, then does that mean...
Too bad for Mitsuru-san, but we're gonna ignore her request not to get involved.
When Mitsuru-san and her people left, they told us not to get involved any further with the case. We knew why they said that, of course. They were worried about our safety. Still.
Ah, so the investigation team's back in business.
Yep. Feel a little bad doing this to Mitsuru-san, but we can't just leave this be.
I just want to reiterate for like the third time that I think it is insanely dumb of each and every one of these characters, even the ones I like Yosuke and Kanji. I think it's insanely stupid of them to not just be like, hey dude, Mitsuru feasibly cannot stop us from launching an investigation. Instead of going behind her back like an idiot, we should just tell her like, we're gonna do it and we can help one another and share information, or we cannot. That's your call. That's all I'm saying. It's really, really dumb.
We can fight too. And heck, this is our town, so it's practically our duty to do this.
I'm in too. After all, I am Labby-chan's knight. Plus, I can't sit on the sidelines after seeing what this culprit did to my world. It had gotten so peaceful thanks to you guys.
I knew they felt this way, but I nod firmly after seeing everyone still in agreement.
So it's decided.
Mm-hmm. We have to return the favor of getting stuck with those strange epithets, too.
Everyone looks away briefly after hearing this. Those nonsense nicknames that got broadcast during the P1 Grand Prix made no small stir in our daily lives. Although personally,
That makes me so mad. What was that carnivore whose discarded womanhood stuff all about? I could swear people cross the street now when they see me.
Really? I was actually pretty impressed.
Huh? Is that how you think of me, Yukon?
No, that's not what I meant.
That reminds me. You seem to like that Sister Complex Kingpin of Steel nickname.
Did he?
Sensei, have you awakened to a new name? Should I call you Kingpin from now on?
I wonder if it's just my imagination that what Yosuke said just now hurt worse than the nickname. All I meant was that those nicknames weren't that bad. Still, I admit I was honestly impressed at how precise those taunts were in striking at each of our hang-ups.
This sure has turned out to be some Golden Week. And after you took the time to come see us, too.
No kidding. Shit got stirred up the day you came back, like someone planned it that way.
Everyone nods at Kanji's words, everyone except Yosuke. Unlike the others, he just shoots me a slightly bleak glance. I know what it means, but I'll let him say it.
That actually does still bother me a bit.
What do you mean?
Oh, I guess the timing? It's like whoever did this was waiting for you to come back.
I mean, if they wanted to try and change personas into strong shadows, of course they would wait for the wild card to come back. Like, it would be stupid not to. I don't know if, like, Aigis still has, like, the quotation marks, like, wild card power or whatnot, because I don't know exactly how the answer played out. In my mind, if you are a wild card at any point, then you're always a wild card, to be honest. But Narukami absolutely 100%, at the moment, wild card 100%. If I was trying to turn personas into shadows to get strong ones, I would try and get a wild cards persona. For sure. And right now, I think, like, Aigis and Narukami are the only wild cards? Because Minato's, like, dead, he's the door or whatever he's up to. And then, Akechi and Joker aren't around yet. I agree with him. The incident with Labyrinth happened right when I returned to Inaba for Golden Week. It was timed as if whoever set this up was just waiting for me to get back in town.
Well, I guess there's no need to think about that now. Oh yeah, where's Marie-chan?
Oh yeah, since this game was made after Golden while the first arena was made before Golden, now we can mention Marie.
She's elusive as always. It looked like she was buying something at Sozai Daigaku the other day.
Isn't she a weather girl now?
What? Nobody told Emi-chan that Sensei was visiting?
She didn't exist in the first game, Teddy!
Well, it is Marie-chan we're talking about. I'm sure she's noticed that Yukun's back.
You never had a shadow, so would the plan to turn his persona back into a shadow work? I mean, he technically did, like, have a shadow, right? Like, everyone does. Like, if he has a persona, then his persona was a shadow previously, just because we didn't, like, see him face his shadow or whatever in the game. Like, it would still be, if you flipped it, it would still be a shadow. Marie, she was another one involved in the first case we solved here in Inaba. We helped her regain her lost memories, and she now protects this town as a minor goddess who supports the townspeople here. Good for her.
Huh? Then, why hasn't she shown up? I mean, if she knew that Senpai's back, you'd think she'd be the first to show.